Hello and welcome to the world's most famous podcast. I'm Jacqueline Maddison, your hostess. Today we have a unique guest joining us. Her name is Lori Altermann, a dynamic and witty voice in the beauty, lifestyle, and fashion world. With over 135,000 TikTok followers, Lori has built a loyal community of women who trust her recommendations, comedic takes, and candid insights on everything from aging gracefully to the latest pop culture trends. And beyond her role as a social media influencer, Lori is a proud mother. She's a cancer survivor and a podcast host of The Lori Altermann Show, where she shares her favorite beauty finds, fashion must-haves, and indulgences like luxury products or the perfect coffee. So today we'll dive into her journey, her influence in the digital world, and wisdom she's gained along the way. Let's welcome Lori to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I love where you are. It's so glamorous.
Thank you.
Where are you?
Well, I'm in my office as we speak, but this is just a background image. I like to play with the background images. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you look glamorous.
Thanks, hon. So I'm so excited to have you on today. I was interested to learn about your life. I mean, you've had quite an interesting journey, and I want to commend you on your cancer survival. I mean, we all know that's a fight, spiritually, emotionally, physically. But let's get started with, you've built an incredible online presence. What inspired you to start sharing your life and insights on social media?
So before having kids, I had kids around 32 years old. I'm 56 now. I was on the track and the lane to be on TV and to be a performer. Do I have to wear the earphones?
I don't think so. I mean, if you can hear me, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Perfect.
never worn them, so they're new to me. So
Well, and let me just say, for 56 years old, you look amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I wanted to be in a sitcom or on Saturday Night Live, and I had done stand up and improv. And when I met my husband, now my boyfriend at the time, I sort of just said, you know what? I'm not making any money. I was doing that. I was on the side selling radio and TV advertising. So the curse, and if you make money doing something you don't have a passion for, you may end up just doing that. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do that. Going to make the money. I don't really want to be in entertainment. I had met a lot of women who were on Saturday Night Live. It was a real boys club then, and it was late nights. Obviously, it's Saturday Night Live, and it was I was doing a lot of comedy clubs, smoky and dingy. And it was easy to just take the money. So I met my husband, I got married, I had 2 kids, never wanted to be married, never wanted to have kids.
That's why God's word says he laughs at man's plans. Gotta
Exactly.
love it.
Exactly. But it all worked out so far. And I didn't work the entire time I raised kids.
Wow.
The raising of kids, becoming a mom was not natural or organic for me. It was very out of my wheelhouse. So it leveled me. It really humbled me.
Wow.
I had been really good at everything I'd done before that. And that was a real wake-up call. So although it was obviously very rewarding, it was challenging, like any mom has with kids. They had a lot of medical issues. In this day and age, they had mental challenges that we all have to address. And it was hard for me. So at the end of the raising of the kids, when the last one went to college, I was faced with, what the hell am I going to do now? And after having some trauma therapy and a nervous breakdown, I thought, you know, what made me happy beforehand? And so friends had encouraged me to go back to stand up, to get a podcast, to do it all the same way. And it didn't entice me. I didn't really want to leave my house, but I just know that I felt creative, and I was a huge TikTok consumer.
Ah.
And one Sunday night in the middle of sleep, I sat straight up out of a dead sleep, which is not often for me in menopause. And I said to my husband, who is a doctor, he's very scientific, he's in the box, not creative. I said, I'm going on TikTok. He said, all right. I said, no, I'm not turning it on my phone. I'm going to go on TikTok as a creator. He says, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? I said, at the time, I said, well, I love makeup and fashion. I had breast cancer. I didn't have reconstruction. I want to show a face of vein, but I don't have tits. He said, okay. Now, I had never opened up a laptop, used a computer. I had an iPhone that I had never filmed on, really didn't take a picture. I didn't know how to copy and paste. So I had to right away, again, the humbling, it didn't come natural. The creation did, the content did. I had to hire a college kid to show me how to film, how to edit. And one thing led to another. And my creativity was tapped. And although I was
Mm.
talking about fashion and beauty, my sense of humor came back after
Yeah.
all those years. And it sort of started blowing up.
Yeah.
Women, kids too, some men were resonating with how authentic, with
Mm.
how unapologetic, with the rough trials and tribulations of my life that they certainly had in theirs, and me being at a point where IDGAF, I didn't give a, and
Yeah.
I was living my best life. And it just became something that I didn't bargain on, was this very nurturing and for me satisfying connection with this parasocial media relationship. And then I went on Instagram, YouTube, I started a podcast, and it just has been a really fun journey, real challenging, but real fun.
So it's been like a self-discovery again, a journey back to finding yourself and then sharing yourself with the world. And I think that's a beautiful thing because on social media, it is a community. And I think that a community that you've built around yourself, because really the people who follow you and love to watch you, are like your friends. They see you, you're like a friend. And
Sometimes
that's
nicer.
yeah, right. So I think that's beautiful, but I also think that you have a platform that you're impacting people's lives, and that's what an influencer is. Have a power to influence people's lives. And so what for you is that kind of purpose in what you're doing? What is the message, or how do you want to impact other people's lives other than humor and all those beautiful, wonderful things too? But sort of on a deeper level, because you do have that power.
I want people to feel comfortable in their own skin. I don't want them to, I had a college professor, and it was the last semester of our senior year. And he said, I'm going to tell you something, guys, right now. The most important thing I'm going to teach you to go out into the real world is, and I went to Georgia, go dogs. He said, no one cares about you except your mama, and she don't even care that much. And
Wow.
resonated. And so if you go out in the world knowing no one really cares, no one's looking at you, no one's thinking about you, if you can really be comfortable with, what do I think of me? What makes me happy? As long as you're being polite, as long as you're being lovely, to be able to influence people to be themselves, to really sit comfortably in who they are and know that we're all waiting to die. It's all going to end. And on the last day, if you're thinking, oh, I wish I had had more people like me or include me, it would be, wow, I had meaningful connections and moments as my true authentic self.
Yeah,
So I'm
exactly.
influencing people to really be comfortable with themselves and giving less F's.
It's so true. Like, I'm a Christian. I have a relationship with God, and for me, I believe God loves each of us. So I find solace in God's love for me. But I love what you said, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think that if we can embrace our unique kind of God-given natural gifts and talents and personalities and be that and show up in that, in the fullness of our being, what we were designed and created to be, that's living our purpose. That's why we're here, you know? And there's power in that. So I love that. Yes, that you encourage others to be comfortable in their skin, be authentic, be themselves. So
Yes.
now many women over 50 are sort of in a similar phase. What do I do? Finding themselves, rediscovering their confidence, feeling overlooked in the fashion and beauty because it's all about youth, you know? But how do you use your platform to empower them?
I think it goes back to being your authentic self. So if you are a woman over 50 and you are trying to tap into what do I want to do with my life this chapter? What do I want to look like? I want people to really say, well, you know what? Before I was 50, maybe a long time ago, these were the things that made me happy. And maybe it seems crazy that it was art or it was
Right,
movie or it was nature. There are ways to bring in your passions from youth
right.
into yourself right now and find things to do. And in terms of fashion, what do you feel most beautiful in?
Yes.
And it's no wrong or right. And if you feel like I feel most beautiful in XYZ, but I don't feel like it's dressy enough or flattering, there's ways to work with stylists or even go on the internet and figure out how to enhance what makes you feel pretty naturally.
Oh, I love that. What is your go-to beauty routine, and are there any products you swear by?
So I am obsessed with skincare. Unfortunately, I grew up in the 1980s with the tinfoil, the baby oil, Rick Springfield, and some Bain de Soleil. So I have been fighting all of what people call freckles. They're not freckles, they're age spots, they're hyperpigmentation. So
Right.
I've had many procedures. I use really good products to lighten and brighten.
Mm.
I believe that what you put on your skin really matters, and sun is the enemy. There's no good amount of sun for your skin. There's not. So there's a lot of products I love. I like some over the counter. I love some prescription. I have been lucky enough to try a lot. I found what works for me. It's important to find a dermatologist slash plastic surgeon because what works for me absolutely may not work for you. So it's hard to give recommendations. I do give what I love, but my skin has changed dramatically since menopause and I just have different needs. So I believe strongly in stay out of the sun and moisture,
Mm.
hydration.
Yeah, I can't live without my sunblock or my hat. And I'm Scottish Irish, so I have like the whitest skin on the planet. But to have peace with my freckles, I say they're like a night without stars is a face without freckles.
There
So
you
love
go.
them, baby, love them.
Well, it's come back in trend that
Right. I
especially
noticed I see makeup tutorials and they're putting freckles on. I'm like, oh, really?
I mean, it is cute on younger kids. I will say my daughter does it and she's 22 almost, but there ain't going to be a morning where I'm putting back on the spots. It's just not going to happen.
That's hilarious. I know, right? So fashion trends obviously also are changing constantly. So there's some, I think, staples, maybe like a leather jacket or maybe cheetah print. That's for me anyways. How do you balance staying trendy while remaining true to your personal style?
Well, lucky for me, I love monochromatic dressing, right? So I have my black fits, white fits, cream fits, gray fits.
Mm,
And if we
love that.
work with that capsule, that very easy palette, we can each season add a trendy or a more modern piece to it, keeping this whole base very simple. So I look to what is going on. And if it feels right for me, I'll add a piece, I'll add a certain accessory, but I really like simple, clean, and it makes me look leaner and longer and it's easy. I used to wear Garanimals as a kid. Fashion doesn't come organically to me. It's something that I have always struggled with, but I've worked with a lot of great stylists. I do know my body now. I know what looks good, and I have a real open mind. And I have two kids in their 20s who keep me in check. I think if you
Totally.
you stay
Mom,
current
what
with
are you
fashion,
wearing? Yeah.
I think if you stay current with fashion and music, it keeps you young.
Yeah, right. Although there are some songs that like I love to just play from the good old days that
Oh,
take me back and remind me of
absolutely.
my, I love it all. Life is good though. I mean,
Yep.
believe me, it has its ups and downs. So, speaking of ups and downs, tell us a little bit about your cancer journey. I mean, please, you
Sure.
overcame
I mean,
cancer.
for now.
Hey, from my
I mean,
mouth to
listen, when
God's
someone
ears, you will
says,
be cancer free for the rest of your life. Let's
yeah,
believe it.
yeah, okay. So for someone to say that, they're I mean, for now. So my mother had the BRCA gene, the breast cancer gene. And if you have it, you're about 75% likely to get cancer. She did. She ultimately developed pancreatic cancer. We all know how that ends. Not well. And I've always been monitored because I was high risk. And since I was in my 20s, I would alternate mammograms with MRIs. They found a lot of false, scares,
Mm,
which means a lot of tests and biopsies. At some point, I was tested for the gene. I do not have it, but luck would have it, I still developed cancer, but because I was screened early and right on top of it, they found it early. And I didn't have to have traditional chemo or radiation. I do take a chemo pill called tamoxifen. Because I'd had so many scares, I decided to not have reconstruction after mastectomy. I was done playing the game. I know that a lot of people have had success with reconstruction, but I know a lot of women who it's been a real battle, a lot of infection, not a
mm,
comfortable life. And I was just ready to get back to the party. So in
right.
2020, I had the mastectomy. I realized that was also during COVID, so that was fun. Then I had a full hysterectomy. And now I am 56 and it is just not a big deal to me.
Right.
I, for so long, was so worried you can still develop breast cancer even if you don't have breasts, it's less likely. But I would say that survivor, I don't, that wasn't
Fighter,
the,
maybe. You're a fighter, right? I mean, so
I
tell
don't
me,
believe in that.
how did you emotionally handle that journey? I mean,
Yeah, I
was
don't
it
believe in the fighter thing because I think there's
no?
plenty of people who fight, like my mom, and they die and they don't fight and they still survive. I think it's luck of the draw. And
Mm,
it wasn't that I fought, they found it early and I
right.
was okay. And there's been a couple of scares since, which is unbelievable because I had to have a mastectomy with no tits. That was fun.
Yeah.
But so how did I
You're so
survive
cute. So
my
I think,
humor? My
yeah, I was gonna
humor.
say, I feel like your humor and making light of difficult, even painful scenarios makes it easier because you know what medicine is, I mean, sorry, laughter is a medicine. It
Mhm.
is. I mean, I can be having a really down day and see something funny and have just a great laugh and I'm cheered up. You know, so we must, and that's what I love about you is your humor, the
Thank
comedy
you.
element of what you do, and it's so important that we have that in our lives.
It's the most satisfying thing when a follower or fan tells me that they've had a bad day. That part's not satisfying, but
Right.
they say, and I came up on their page and it made their day. I mean, to me, what if I make someone laugh?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, what advice would you give to women going through a similar challenge?
Well, I would say I mean, if you don't know this by now, you got to be your own advocate. If you think something's wrong with your body, listen. Do not listen to the doctor, the nurse. Insist on the test. Insist it doesn't feel right. And just stay on top of things and keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, let's move into maybe a more lighthearted conversation. Pop culture and reality TV, yay, are among your favorite topics. What's your current guilty pleasure show?
Well, I ain't guilty about it. I have been a Bravo holic for years and I just adore Bravo TV. I'm trying to be a moderator at this year's BravoCon in Vegas.
Ooh, fun.
So I love all the shows. I guess the only ones I really don't love, I don't love Below Deck. I don't
Mm.
love, that might be it, but I watch everything and I
Yeah,
take
that's a
it very
unique concept,
seriously.
huh?
Very seriously, I take it. And Bravo's
So,
great right now.
yeah, yeah, Bravo's always been good. So, you talk a lot about confidence. How can women embrace their beauty at any age? From teenage years? Because you know what? We all are our own worst critic, you know, and I think we all battle that little confidence demon, we'll call it, that's always trying to make us feel bad about ourselves, or, oh, this needs to change, yada, yada, especially in this, I want to say, vanity obsessed world, right?
Mhm.
So, how do you encourage women of any age to embrace their confidence?
So comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm,
There's always going to be someone prettier than you. So
yeah,
don't worry about it. But there's
yeah,
always going to be someone not as pretty as you.
yeah.
Find those people. Maybe be friends with those people. And the confidence comes from just not giving enough and believing that this is what I was given. You can choose to enhance it, fix it, and if you don't, then just choose to enjoy it because, you know, every day above ground is pretty great. And if you're
Right.
going to be worried that your nose, doesn't look right or your hair's whatever, you're just wasting time. You're taking up
Right.
space for someone that would love to come back, right? And the biggest problem would be that they have frizzy hair, although I didn't like frizzy hair.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, we do have to learn to love ourselves. I think that's part of the
No one
life
else is going to love you if
experience,
you don't. I mean,
you know?
sometimes, but not many people. Yeah.
And you're right, today is the gift, right? That's why it's called the present.
Yep.
So we have to embrace it, embrace ourselves, show up 100%, and like you said, be authentic in this life experience. So your podcast, the Lori Alterman Show, is gaining traction as well. So what inspired you to start that, and what's the show all about?
So I've always loved David Letterman, Conan, Joan Rivers, Johnny Carson. I like that late night sort of, it was elegant back in the day. It's lost its
Hmm.
elegance. Always
Right.
been very interested in interesting people. And I've always loved, I even like Howard Stern. I liked him way more before. I don't love him now. You're a little bit too PC, but I think that I have always been intrigued by someone who's interesting and I ask questions that everyone's thinking. And the podcast was a great way to do that. It's been sort of put on hold because I've been so busy, but I love to sit down like no one's watching, like we're two best friends, and ask you not the questions that the world already knows, stuff that I was wondering that you had the nerve to ask that.
Right? You dig a little deeper. Yeah, those are the best kinds of interviews because I think when we fully expose ourselves, there's something powerful about that. And it also encourages others to be that transparent. And there's beauty in being real.
Right.
There's so much superficiality. We have to be real with each other. So, if you could only pick three beauty or fashion must-haves, what would they be?
So I always think if right now I had to run out of the house in terms of makeup,
Uh-huh.
me needs a lip and a mascara and an eyebrows. I shaved them off back in the 80s. Literally, I went took a razor.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm not going without those things. And in terms of skincare, I'm taking a sunscreen.
Uh-huh.
And fashion, I need a whole black outfit and I can fashion a necklace out in the woods somehow, make some earrings. But if you go all black, then I think it doesn't even have to be expensive. It just looks elegant.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm all about all black. That's
And a
usually
good
my,
belt. But I could
yes,
probably make a belt out in the woods.
you
I
could.
don't know in the woods, but I imagine there's belt material.
You could tie leaves together. It's
Yeah, you
totally
go. There you go.
possible.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, social media can be overwhelming, and a lot of times people can fall prey to or tempted into trends and et cetera, or copying, right? So, how do you stay authentic while managing to grow your own audience?
I've always created content that I would want to see that solves a problem. And it can be a real problem, like how do you put on foundation flawlessly, or how do you wake up today and find something funny. And I've always done it as if I'm on a FaceTime, like I am with you, and
Hmm.
I'm talking to one person. And so I do like some of the trends, but I put my spin on it.
Oh, I love that. Well, yeah, and I like the way you interact. It's really cute. It's
Thank
like a
you.
friend. That's what I said in the beginning. So now you're a mother of two, as you mentioned. How has parenthood influenced your journey as an influencer, both personally and professionally?
I felt very alone in parenting because, as I said, it didn't come naturally to me. I had never babysat, I had never held a baby. When they handed me the baby the first time in the hospital, I rang the bell. Do you have a bell in the hospital? And the nurse comes running and like, something's wrong. What's wrong? She can't hold her head up. Like I literally didn't know
Wow.
any. So I wanted, and I want moms and my followers to feel like they're not alone. If you're feeling this, someone else is. Nothing you feel is wrong. How you
Mm.
act, you can choose that, and that's wrong. So I wanted people to not have the same experience I had. I had a really hard experience, and I also didn't work. So I appreciate that there's moms that do both. I couldn't have done both. So parenthood has influenced my social media in that I want younger women to feel seen and women my age to be okay with empty nesting.
Yeah.
And in taking care of two kids, it really has informed me to be able to take care of my followers. I'd like to be a nurturing, safe, silly place. And, it ain't that deep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's lighthearted.
Yeah.
That's good. So, what's next for you? Any exciting projects, collaborations, funny, cool ideas we can look forward to?
I'm trying to get a TV show and
Mm.
I'm working on that. So there's some things in the mix. And anything Bravo related, I'm pushing out to maybe be there. They have Watch What Happens Live, a bartender on there
Mm.
or this BravoCon. So that's big for me. And being able to sit down with some of the casts from the Bravo shows, that's in the works. And me, like I said before, I'm not asking them about the show, I'm asking about stuff that we want to know.
Right. Got it. Well, I hope all your dreams come true. I mean,
Ooh,
I think, and you mentioned something about creativity, and I think when we tap into our creativity, it's like the supernatural flow that just is endless. And so I love creativity too. It's one of my favorite things. And I think that we are, well, made in God's image, and He's a creator. He created everything, right? So we're here to create. And so the more we create, the more we grow and blossom into the fullness of our potential in that creator identity.
right. I mean, listen, you work with what you got. And if
Right?
you're creative, go for it. If you're someone who's mathematical, if you're someone who loves nature, you just hope that you enjoy your gift because that would be hard to have a gift and you're like, I don't want to cook, but I'm good at it. I'm horrible at cooking, thank God.
Right. Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like some people, maybe their creative gift is to bake cookies, or they would make the best cakes in the world. But there's so much pressure, like, oh, chasing the dollar. It's like the dollar is their god. I have to make money, and then so they sacrifice their gift, their creativity, in pursuit of the dollar. Like, and they go sell insurance. And they spend the rest of their life miserable selling insurance. But like what you're doing, you've rediscovered yourself, and now you're self-expressing and creating and sharing that with the world, and it's blossoming. So I feel like I want to encourage people to do what you're doing, to take that leap of faith, to create, to use your natural gifts and talents. Like yours is humor. You're just being yourself and sharing that with the world. And I think that's what we all need to do.
I think that at some point my parents said, and I absolutely believe this, and it has happened. If you love what you do and work hard at it, the money will come, and it always has.
So true. I've always said that. Money is a byproduct of passion. Pursue your passion. 100%. I love it. So, is there anything else you'd like to add or share is important that people should know about you? Maybe that they don't
I'm
know?
just here. I'm just on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and hopefully on your TV soon. And
Yes.
I want to be that person that when you're having a good day or a bad day, you're like, oh, now I can just laugh and laugh and laugh.
Oh, I love it. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you so much for sharing your gift and
Thank
for
you.
making the world a brighter and happier place by bringing laughter and joy into it, just by being yourself.
Thank you.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lori, again, thank you for sharing your humor,
My
your
pleasure.
wisdom, your incredible journey with us. You're beautiful. You're
Thank you.
fun. Yes. And
Thank
I
you so
just,
much.
I pray you continue to grow and blossom into the fullness of who God created you to be. Keep
Thank you
sharing your
very
gift.
much.
Yeah, and
Thank
I pray, Lord, that good health be upon you for the rest of your life.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, I look forward to meeting you in person and hopefully seeing you on the big screen one of these
Yep,
days.
I'm in
Maybe
LA a lot,
millions
so
of people
I'll
laugh.
let you know if I'm there because I'm there a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in LA, right? I'm
Yeah, send
obviously.
me an email. You can
Okay.
definitely love to, and then maybe we'll have you on the show again in the future.
Excellent. Thank you
I
so
love it.
much.
It's such a pleasure. God
Thank
bless you. Bye,
Bye bye.
Laura.